Hello, hello. We should be live. I'm just checking, but anyway, I trust it. I
I
don't know.
We do the same thing.
If not, we'll just upload it. Hello, hello. Heather Jean
Yeah.
here, and I have two very special guests today. I have so much fun when it's like a group.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. It's more of a
Do you
coffee
want to
chat that way.
introduce yourselves? Because Jess and I actually just met like about 30 seconds ago. So do you guys want to like introduce yourself to the community? And what you want to know, what you want us to know about you, and then we'll have a chat. I'm so excited.
Yeah, sounds good. Do you want to go first, Ciara?
Sure, I'll go first. So my name is Ciara. I live in New Jersey right now, and I have two sweet little boys, age 1 and 4, a wonderful husband, and I am at a place in my life where I am just loving every single moment. And it's not that hardship doesn't come, but it's just that I've like finally figured it out. I've figured out all the tools that I need to like get myself to loving even the hard times. I'm like, oh, this is a great learning lesson or a moment. So I'm just, living life in New Jersey and loving every second of it.
And then I'm Jessica. We are business partners and we also run a podcast together. I am the mom of a super cool 9-year-old little girl, and we live in South Carolina with my boyfriend and our 2 dogs. And same with Ciara. Same sentiment. I've just found myself on this growth journey over the past 10 years. And I'm at this really sweet spot where I absolutely love everything that I'm doing. And I'm excited for the future at the same time and content in my current situations. And it's just, I love it. I get to do everything that I want to do, everything that I need to do, and actually find myself with all of this extra time to just do things that I just enjoy. So it's really exciting.
That's wonderful to hear. So refreshing to hear. How did you guys get to the stage where you're loving life and finding that your time is being spent doing what you want to be doing?
Well, okay, so to give a little backstory on Jess and I, we met in college. So our friendship is going on 15 years now. And Jess has always been the organized, like she's got her, her labels and things like structured. And I am not that way at all. But I'm very much like, oh, let's soak up this moment and do absolutely everything to like really harness this. And so a couple of years ago, I had a blog and I was like, Jess, I can't stay consistent with my blog at all. I have no idea what I'm doing. Can you help me just to organize it, like to stay on track and to, keep sending my newsletters or whatever. And so she did. And then she was like, why don't we start a podcast? I'm like, okay. So we're like kind of going through, and I guess we started the podcast in February of 2020, right before everything shut down, which was a perfect time to start a podcast. And then by October, we decided to challenge each other. And we're like, let's do some sort of, challenge for the podcast specifically. And what we decided to do was I asked her to challenge me to make a better schedule because my schedule was all over the place. I was constantly late. I was just not showing up for myself, for my family, none of it. And then she asked me to create something for her that would help her to be more present and soak in the moment with her daughter. And so we did that. We challenged each other. And then we're like, whoa, combining these efforts is really powerful. And like Jess has said, like she learned from making my challenge and I learned from making her challenge. So it just improved our overall, the way we do everything throughout our day is intentional. It's with purpose and it's fueling to us, which then helps us to fuel our business, our families, all of it.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have both always been very introspective and want to grow and learn and become better human beings within ourselves. So we've been on that path for so long, and it just led up to this moment where we did challenge each other. And Ciara's like, oh my gosh, you need to do this for other women. I don't know what this magic is. And I found myself amazed at how, a 30-day thing that Ciara came up for me just changed my perspective every single day. And I felt better and enjoyed every single day more. So it's definitely been like this long lead up to figuring out, oh, these are how they all fit together and work for people.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I started a business over 25 years ago that is just kind of post-COVID bobbing along. I don't know what's going on there, but no, and I don't know if anybody does anymore. But when we started Confidence Through Cabaret, it was you're really like it was so much different because we were supposed to start with a really specific niche to be online, and everybody was like, and you're supposed to like name your ideal customer right down to the nail polish that they wear.
Yes.
And I was like, I just can't because personal life, work life, and stage life to me are so integrated, and I don't know how to separate it, especially if you're working at home, which most people were in 2020 at least. If you were lucky. And so I think that kind of having that boundaries and really understanding how to have that discipline so that you are doing the things that you enjoy is so important. And Ciara and I had a conversation about the kind of the whole product that you guys have going on, which I want to share with everybody. But just that kind of challenging how we spend our time. So I think a lot of us in 2020 started out really disciplined with our time, right? And we were all like really good. I know I was doing 15 classes a week because we replaced my aerial exercise because I thought it was only going to be for a few weeks. And by about October, I was like, if I have to do another online class, I just can't. I just can't. And it just kind of wiped me out. By January of 2021, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with the online stuff. And I think a lot of us weren't really prepared for that shift that we were given. And what you guys do is just kind of help people. I mean, it's perfect timing. I'm sure you were doing it before, but it's great time for people to be really thinking about, what do I want to be spending my time on? Time is real, which I love because it just isn't real.
Yeah, it's made up and we can make it what we want of it, for sure. It's funny how you say that you were burnt out after a year, because I think so there's two things that happen. Like some people go to the like, I'm not going to do this anymore. And other people have lost sight of what it was like to work in an office, so much so that they're not stopping working at home. My mother-in-law says, am I working from home or am I living at work? And what she means is that like there's so much, there's no boundaries anymore. When she was in the office, she knew this is when I go for coffee and this is when I, go on a walk around the office. And now there isn't that. So she's, pressured to read her emails on a Sunday instead of just being present with my kids or whatever. It's just, there's a lot of pressure all around. I think pressure is the biggest word that everyone's experiencing, and so it's interesting to see how we were coming out of that.
Yeah, and I think it'll be very different for each of us, because there's a lot of people who in the UK anyway that are renting office space because they want to be back in an office and their company isn't back in an office, and then there's a lot of people who their offices are back up and running and they don't want to go back. And there's a real mix of emotion around what that's about.
Yeah.
So okay, so what are you guys, so I know, first of all, what's your podcast called?
It's the In Raw Life podcast, and it's on all podcasting platforms.
Okay, tell me it again.
The In Raw Life podcast.
In Raw.
RAW, yeah. It's about being raw and authentic to who you are, not covering up what like the messiness of what life is throwing at you. And just, every time we have a guest, we have them share a raw moment that's real and genuine to their life experience to help others feel like they're not alone.
That's lovely. And it's in the In Raw Life podcast, yes?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, exactly it.
My typing skills. I've got too many things going on here because I have this like control center on StreamYard, which is fabulous because I can read everything and I can create banners and I've got my phone going on so I can see because our on Facebook anyway, it was interrupted slightly, and then And then that made me panic. Is Facebook going down again? And all kinds of stuff. I got too many things, and I was like, "Wait, what? You're saying words to me now? I have to type them. What?" But that's just kind of how it goes, right? Like, perfection is another one of those man-made things. That's just complete illusion.
Yes. We talk about that a lot.
Yeah. And, and most of us, if we were perfectionists or we were complete control freaks, we had to learn the hard way during lockdown that like, we never had control. I certainly thought I had control, and I had no control over it. I just, that blew my mind to find that.
Yeah, that's something else that that Jess and I teach our students, is how just to have the mindset switch off of perfectionism and instead to be grateful for all the things that you are achieving instead of focusing on what's not getting done, and how that gratitude can really shift you to getting closer to your goals instead of letting the other voices prevent you from moving forward into what you're actually trying to achieve. Because perfectionism is just a lie that we're telling ourselves, just like you said, it's not real. We're lying to ourselves and making ourselves feel inadequate. So then we don't do the things that we're put on this earth to do. And then we're beating ourselves up and not enjoying all the moments. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think, when there's a lot of people have needed to, or maybe still need to, realign values, so that we can be spending our time in line with what it is that's important to us. And for some of us, that will have shifted over what's happened in the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
For some of us, we hadn't done that work yet anyway.
Yeah.
So, what I love about this conversation is we started out the beginning of the week talking about what are your values, and then how do you align your time to it. And I knew, because Ciara and I actually purposely planned this, that we would be talking about time and the fact that it's a man-made construct, and how do you choose to spend your time. Now, you guys have something that you're putting together, right? Or that you're working on around challenging other people's time schedule. Do you want to share about that? Is it time?
Go for it. Jess, do you want to go? You want to share?
So we do currently have a program, like a VIP program.
Wait, I'm going to disappear because my battery is about to die and I didn't bring my charger. So Jess, explain it. I'll be right back.
So we currently have a VIP program where we literally help people figure out what it is that they're wanting to focus on, what the best thing that's valuable to their life. And we actually walk them through a 30-day journey of scheduling. I give them my organized mind that I don't know I was gifted with, so that I can help them figure out where those pockets of time are and how to fit in the things that are really important to them and let everything go around that. And then we also have, it's part of the 30-day journey of encouragement, how to fuel their mornings with our game-changing routine. And by day 10, we just check in with our students, and we typically get these amazing testimonies of, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize how much I could get done and actually have time to myself and enjoy myself and my family, and not have to worry when I'm at work that I'm guilty that I'm not spending time with my family, or vice versa. So that's our current program. And then we are working on a new program that people can kind of go through themselves. So they don't have to sign up for the VIP. They can actually do something going through it with access to us.
Beautiful. And I think that's the great thing is that then, I think there's a lot of things that I would have to get really real about. So, for example, I had a very active aerial practice before lockdown. And then I was doing that I have a pole in my living room right next to me here. And I was following it through, as I said before, online. But now I still want to do it, but it's oh yeah, no, but that's going to be really hard. And so there'd have to be some really getting real about how much do I actually want this? Because I can fit it into my day if I wanted to. But there's a difference between talking about this is what I want to do, because in my head that's what I do, or that's what I'd love to be able to, and exercise is one of those things where for a lot of us we'll go, yeah, I really should get fit. But I don't really have time. And then if you gave me a schedule that fit that in, that would piss me off. No, I'm serious. So I'm joking, but I'm serious in terms of I'd have to get really real and kind of go, actually, this isn't what I want to be doing for an hour a day or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't want that scheduled in. But I have to be honest with myself, and that would raise a lot of things for people, I would think.
And that's, I think it's interesting too that you bring up something that you don't necessarily want to do, because I do think there's things in our life that we don't want to do, but we know it's necessary in order to be a healthy version of ourselves. You know, like one of my friends, she's like, instead of writing "go to the gym" in her planner, she writes live a long life for my kids, because that's the whole real reason she's going to the gym, is to live a long life for her kids. And so what is really beautiful about what we've created, that I think is almost like accidental that we've created this, but it's the accountability aspect. So when our students come to us and they say, I want to be more, like, I want to work out every day. Okay, so we've scheduled it in. Here it is. You didn't think you had time for it. Guess what? You do. And if it is something you really want to do, we're checking in on you. We're holding you to it. And it's only 30 days. So after this, if you don't want to continue it, you don't have to. But like, something about the 30 days that they're with us, it gives them the opportunity to feel it out and see what works and what doesn't. And then they're gaining this habit just by showing up every day. So even, I mean, Jessica and I, we did another challenge for this October, again, 30 days. And it made me like, I got up early every morning to go to the pool. You know, I had to drive to our community pool. I had to go swimming every morning. Sometimes it's cold, you know, but I kept showing up because I had Jessica, and we brought a couple of other girls in to do it with us. And we all kept each other accountable. So I wanted to keep showing up, to be there, like, so that they would keep showing up to their workouts. And because I knew that they were going to check in on me and be like, hey, you're not doing what you said you were going to do, you know. So that aspect just helps you to show up in the areas that you want to show up. And like I said, it's 30 days. So if you hate it, at the end of 30 days, you move on to what you want to do.
Well, I think one of the biggest aspects around like working out, for example, because a lot of people say, oh, I have to go work out. And one of the things that we do is also work on the mindset around things that we have to do or should do, and change it to, I get to go, you know, fuel my body. I get to go move my body so I can live longer for my kids. And that mindset shift really helps. And another thing that I teach about time, especially, is like, oh, I don't have time to work out. Is it you legit don't have time? Like, I don't want to work out, or working out is not important to me. Keeping healthy is not important to me. And if that's true, then cool. Like, it's not, you don't need to fit it in. And if that's not true, then you should probably start fitting it in.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, is how you frame it. So if you're talking about, you know, I want to be healthy, or I get to be stronger, or I get to feel more energy, or whatever, that's so different to, I have to do the workout, or I have to do that. I have to fit this in. And it does change the pressure. I'm just noticing here on Facebook, because it's kind of coming in and out. We're still live on Facebook page and on YouTube, so I'll carry on this on. But if you were watching this and in the community and whatever, then I'll upload this video again. So don't worry about it. So I was just typing comments about, don't worry, we're coming back. So good old technology, right?
You
love technology.
You think it'd get better over the past year.
Good thing we didn't plan this on Monday, right?
Well, and see, there's a great example. Like, because last week when everything went down, well, Facebook and Insta and Google and WhatsApp, and so many people were like, I don't know what to do. Let me change platform now. I'll go to Twitter, or I'll go to LinkedIn, and that's fine. But it was almost like, was there nothing else in your life of value that you really got to say, I could spend time doing this that I never make time for?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's exactly what I did. I made a YouTube video because I was supposed to go live. So I made a YouTube video to like send out to my email, because they talk about how important email was. And we learned that firsthand on Monday. And then I took it as a day off. I really enjoyed it. It was like, all right, I've got other things to do. I'll go be with my kids. Because that's, I mean, at the end of your life, what are you going to look back at? Are you going to look back at how many times you posted on Instagram, and how many likes you got, and how many comments? Like, that's not, I sure hope that when we all go, that's not how we're valuing our life. Like the tombstone reads, 1,522 followers. Like that would be terrible.
Oh my goodness, that would be awful. That would be so awful. With just like, just with, I wonder if anybody ever does that. That's almost that almost makes me want to do that.
to put that on your tombstone.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't plan to have a tombstone, but just kind of, maybe an acknowledgement in the eulogy.
Oh yeah, maybe
the effort you put in.
It's more of a conversation, but it is actually something that a lot of times is used, kind of that, looking back on your life, how do you want that to go?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I've always said to my kids, like, just do something really cool and really wacky. But I think that should be in the whole thing anyway. Like,
well, it brings up for me, like, what if, like, the actions that we're taking and how we're spending our time is what was read in our eulogy. Like, not what we wanted to say or what someone else wants it to say, but what if exactly what we did is what it said? Like, do we want it to say was always on her phone while her kids were playing in the next room? Or do we want to say spent tons of quality time adventuring with her children?
Yeah. Yeah. Like Heather Jean, R.I.P. Had great gifts.
Great gifts.
I love it.
That's a good one. That I wouldn't mind on my tombstone.
Yeah.
But I was also going to speak to what Jessica just said, because I think that goes both ways. So, as a working mom, we think, oh my gosh, all my kid sees is me like this. I mean, I've had my kids come up to me and say, like, hey, mama, and like my 1-year-old has tried to prompt me to put my phone down, and it makes me think, oh my gosh, what am I doing? However, on the flip side, there is work that needs to get done, and it's an online world. And in order to communicate with my students and my customers, I do have to connect. So there's a balance there. And that's what Jessica and I are all about, is finding that balance. So like right now, my children are home. You don't know it. They're sleeping. Like this is their nap time. And I am working. I am clocked in. I am in raw life Ciara right now. And that's awesome because I get to be fully with you, because the way that I structured my day to make sure my kids are sleeping while I'm working. And then when I'm done with this, I can put my phone down and go and be with them. And my phone can actually I'm upstairs. It can stay up here. I can go down. We're going to make, bats for Halloween, and it's going to be a blast. And I don't have to look at my phone at all because I know my work is done. And that ability to be able to separate work you from family you, to be able to actually clock out, is so enriching. And I think that's a huge part of like why Jess and I love the way our lives are set up. Like I proclaim I love Mondays, because I really love Mondays, because I get to get back to work, because work isn't a bad thing, especially if you're doing what you love. So you shouldn't have to feel guilty that you're not spending time with your kids. You just have to balance your schedule in a way that helps you to spend time with your kids, so you don't feel guilty when you're working, and then work so you don't feel like you get to work because your kids are taken care of because you've already done it. So
exactly.
I mean, the big thing is boundaries, just like Heather said earlier.
Yes.
We get so many questions, either people asking how to have boundaries around all of that, or they ask questions that actually the answer is you need to set up better boundaries. And we go over that with our students a lot, of when you make sure that you set it up properly, and there's always room for error and changes, and some crazy thing happens, then you give yourself grace and you just get back to it as soon as you can. But when you have the boundaries, you're able to say, okay, this is where the work happens, this is where the family time happens, and you are both of those people at the same time. That's okay. But the focus part, like when you're actually able to focus on this over here because you've taken care of this, and you can focus on this because you've taken care of this.
Yeah. And having that space, having that mindset, having that understanding of the importance of letting that go while I'm over here doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your best boundary setting advice?
Is honestly, I think our number one thing that we teach people is fueling ourselves first. Like they say, like you've got to pour into your own cup, and it has to be, decently full before you can pour into others. And that's something that we do. We make sure that we are also a priority, and there's a boundary around that time and space, so that when you go into either of them, you have the best mind and capability to do just that thing. And when you actually write it in your schedule and schedule it out, like, it sounds silly, I literally put in 30 minutes of time with my daughter every single day at the same time. And that is us time. She knows it. I know it. Ciara knows it. So she doesn't call me during that time. And I even put my phone in the other room so that there's the boundary. This is special, sacred time. And then we've had that. So then I go back to work, and we've already fueled our relationship in that little bit. And of course, that happens multiple times a day. But that very solid amount of 30 minutes of time has happened.
That's beautiful. And the thing is, even just having a different room and putting your phone away and all those physical things are things that help train your mind to let those things go.
Yeah, it becomes a habit that way.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Ciara, what's your favorite boundary advice?
My favorite boundary advice is honestly learning to say no, which, we all talk about, like, oh, you can say no. It's okay to say no. But what actually comes from saying no is so helpful, because what I like to recommend is look at your life and look at what's actually important, what you actually need to be focusing on, and hone in on that. And then if it doesn't, if something comes up that doesn't fit in there, really assess, is this going to fuel me? Is this going to fuel one of my priorities right now in life? Like, what does that look like? If I plug in meeting Jessica for coffee on a Friday night when it's normally family movie night, just because I felt bad because she asked and I don't know how to say no, like, that sucks. That's going to ruin my day. But if Jessica, who's I do value friendship, and I know she's going through a really hard time right now, okay, I think my family can miss me for the night because I know that Jessica needs me, but I'm not going to say yes when she asked. I'm not going to say yes to anything. I really evaluate every yes I say, and I only say yes with intention.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I absolutely love that. I think a lot of times people will feel like I have to say yes because, then you're not going to be happy with me if I don't, show up. Well, I learned in lockdown, because a lot of it was online. I used to meet a bunch of friends for, Saturday nights and stuff. Was a lot of times I think, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. But I was organizing it, so I had to. And then other people also didn't want to go because they felt like, Heather's organized this, better go. And then we're all there. None of us want to be there. We're all exhausted, and we're all doing it for each other. And then you kind of, and we had to get really real about that after a while. Mm-hmm. And there were some people that were amazing and going, no, it's just not for me tonight. I need to do something else, or I want to do something else. But there was a small group of us that just kept saying yes for each other, and none of us wanted to be there.
That's amazing that you recognize that, though, that you were able to see, like, oh, wait, this isn't actually something that any of us want to do. So why don't we do something different?
Well, it took a while. Because we just wanted to be there for each other. But I think you're right about, saying yes with intention. And I think that's really important. I also think it's important to be able to say yes to the things that you want to do, but you're afraid to do.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All about confidence. Absolutely.
Yeah. I just did a 30-day, because we have a confidence challenge, and it's just a small group of us, and it's just part of the community. And I've sort of said, anybody who is ready to take really, strong actions about raising your confidence and stepping out of your comfort zone, like, let's just hang out, and we'll challenge one another. And we meet we chat every week, and we meet every couple of weeks, and it's just kind of an open thing. There's always somebody new in coming into the group. And that was what I set myself for September, was 30 days of doing things that I wanted to do, but was uncomfortable to do. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, but it was tiring as well, because,
oh, I'm sure,
saying yes to everything you want to do is exhausting.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can imagine. It's funny, though. I think, like, the way confidence works is, you look at these other women and you look at them and you're like, oh, how are they fill in the blank? How do they have a successful business? How are they managing their family at home or whatever? And it's like jealousy hits. But really, it's like, you want to do that and you have every ability to do that. It's just all you have to do is step over your fear and it's yours. Like that's all it is. And once you do it, then you're there and you're like, oh, this isn't exactly what I thought it would be. It's better, it's worse, it's whatever. It doesn't matter because you've made that step, that like leap of faith and confidence. It's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, it is. But then when you look back, you kind of go, what was I so worried about? That was not a big
exactly.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's such a waste of time, like the fear aspect. But yeah. I guess it shapes you, so that's good too.
Yeah, it does. But I think those boundaries. Just talking about the how we set our own boundaries, having a physical space for ourselves, having the opportunity to say yes or say no to what we want to, means that we have to get really clear with our own kind of values and our own desires, really, about how we want to design our life. And that comes back to what you guys do. Which I really appreciate you sharing with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us. This was great.
Oh, it was such a pleasure. And I just want to make sure that I will put it into the notes as well. But for anybody that what wants to know right now where they can find you, or how, besides your podcast, which is
sure. Yeah, we also have a Facebook group. It's called Empowered Unstoppable Women. And that is full of exactly that.
Actually, I don't know why I'm sounding surprised.
Yes. I'm pretty sure you are there.
I think that's how we met.
No, we didn't meet there.
I don't even know where we met.
But either way. Yeah. So that's our Facebook group. And then you can also find us on Instagram at inrawlife.co.
All right. inrawlife.co. Yeah, I don't know actually where we met.
It was through one of those groups, through one of the many entrepreneurial, empowering women kind of groups. Yeah, at inrawlife.co on Instagram.
That's us as well. Yeah, of course. Okay. Yeah. So let me just put that. Let me just fix that now. There we go. So that'll be right. Yeah. So, but do check out the groups. I'll put it into the notes as well, and we can share comments. How we spend our time is so important, and I'm joking partly about having my eulogy have the number of followers and my favorite gifts and so on. But I it's a really strong illustration, isn't it? Of how do you want your life to be represented, and so. What you're doing is helping people create the habits that they want to get the life that they want and be able to stick with it. And, that's a hard one for people to do on their own. So I really appreciate the work that you're putting out there.
Thank you.
And just a note on that too, like how you said it's hard to do on your own. It's also okay to ask for help in it, because all of us need it. I needed Jessica. And that's how we're here. If I didn't ask for her, I wouldn't be here. And vice versa. So it's always okay to ask for help in whatever area you need it.
Oh my goodness. We're so funny about that. Like, that's such an expression, right? It's okay to ask for help. We should be asking for help. Life's hard. We need support. It's how we survive. We all need that.
We're meant to be in community and tribes. Like that's what we are.
That's the way we're built. And I think it's about finding a community of people that are judgment-free and love you where you're at. And that's what Jessica and I try to create. That's what I can tell you create too, Heather. So that is a beautiful place to be, that kind of a community.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I will definitely check if I'm in your group now or not. I'm sure I'm in your group.
I sent you the link. I think you joined. I'm not sure. We'll find out.
We'll find out in a minute. No, I'm sure I did. After we spoke, I think last week when we were talking. So, but yes, anybody else get involved in the group. Get in touch with these guys. It's just it never costs anything to get to know people online and find out what they're doing. And, we're all getting a little bit cynical about like, I don't want to contact Ciara and Jessica because they're going to sell me something. It's like, just get in touch and find out what they're doing. And if it serves you, that's what what our intention is for Confidence Through Cabaret is that we have collaborations, and everybody in this group brings something to it, and everybody, you know, has something to share and has something that they need. And it's all about timing. And it might be right now that you need what Jessica and Ciara are offering. And it might be right now that you just need to be in their group and hear what's going on. And then it might be later on that, you know, so it's not really ever a, certainly from my point of view, it's not ever meant to be like a sales pitch. Do you know what I mean? Like they're going to give you content.
You're going to get in our group and we're going to take all your money. No, our group is to empower women to do it on their own if they can. And then we're here to support you if you can't. Like, that's what I think all of this should be.
Exactly. And that's why I feel so aligned. And that's why I've so enjoyed talking with you guys.
Thank you. You too.
Yes, this was such a pleasure, Heather. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And so on behalf of Ciara and Jessica, I am Heather Jean. I'm reminding you that it is your body, it is your world, and it is your stage. Take up space. We're going into the weekend now. And own it and enjoy.
Love it.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.